Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple, habit-based approach. We know that helping your clients become the best and healthiest versions of themselves isn't just about what they eat or coming to the gym a few hours a week. We, as gym owners and coaches, have to focus on a holistic approach, looking at support systems, stress management, sleep, mindset, lifestyle, and of course, exercise and nutrition. I'm your host, Nicole Coyne, registered dietitian and founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, CrossFit HSN, and HSN Mentoring. I'm also the author of The Basics of Nutrition Coaching, CrossFit Preferred Nutrition course. In this podcast, I'm going to teach you how to make one step at a time to becoming the best nutrition coach and building an awesome habit-based coaching program. Today's podcast guest is Eric Malzone. He is no stranger to the fitness space. He opened up his first CrossFit affiliate in 2008, CrossFit Pacific Coast, which he sold in 2017 to move to Montana. Well, he started the Future of Fitness podcast and has done over 600 interviews. Man, that's a lot of interviews with some amazing people in the health, fitness, and tech space. It has given him a unique lens to see different people's perspectives, what's going on to truly have a real pulse on the industry. Well, today we talk about the trends that he's been seeing from different conferences he's been to, different interviews he's had, and where he sees tech fitting in. I really hope that you enjoy this episode with Eric Malzone. We will get to this episode right after this message. Healthy Steps Nutrition is hosting a live workshop. It is going to be absolutely amazing. A chance for gym owners to connect with other health-minded gym owners who are really looking to bridge the gap between health and fitness inside of their gyms. It is going to be a day and a half packed of different speakers, networking time, and the goal is that you leave with actionable steps to help you prioritize health and wellness and truly have a holistic approach to your business to support your clients to becoming the best and healthiest versions of themselves. This event is going to be September 16th and 17th in Nashville, Tennessee. It's going to be so much fun. There'll be 200 gym owners packing a room to share best practices. And of course, we have some absolutely amazing speakers. I hope to see you there. Make sure that you lock in your spot by grabbing a ticket. Click the link in the show notes to grab your ticket today. All right, enjoy this episode with Eric Malzone. Eric Malzone, welcome to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm pretty fired up to be here. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Nicole.
You know, we were connected a long time ago, and it had been quite some years, and we ended up running into each other at a fitness conference in New York, started chatting again, and we're like, man, we need to do some more stuff together. You're doing some really cool things. You've talked to some really incredible people that are pioneering this fitness and health space. You have a podcast called The Future of Fitness. I just asked you before we started recording how many episodes you've done or how many interviews you've done. And you said almost 700. Like that is a full-time job.
It's a lot. And it doesn't really feel like a job. Like that's the one thing when I like, if I look at a full day of work, starting from whatever 7:38 to, late in the afternoon, the podcasts are always the part that I enjoy the most, the interviews, if I have one on the schedule, and I always feel more energized after than when I started. So I don't know. It's never felt like work, although it has been a ton of time, obviously, to get that many pumped out.
The cool thing when you do podcast interviews like this, you end up having some really cool conversations with some people that are doing really cool things. And I know one of the things that you're super passionate about is the tech space and combining this health and fitness world in tech, but then also this human connection too. I'd love to just hear where you are after talking to all of these different types of people. Like, where's the industry with fitness, health, and tech inside of all of that?
Yeah. So that's obviously a really large encompassing conversation with a lot of different opinions and viewpoints and just angles you can take. But I think, give people background. I've been in the fitness industry now for 15 years. I did own gyms. I owned across the Pacific Coast, which I think we started Open Doors in '09. So very early, did that for 9 years, opened another one with Colin Jenkins in Ventura, California. And that was, more kind of a new concept or new twist on CrossFit, and sold those in 2017 and moved out. And last 5 years have just mainly been podcasting, consulting, advising, business development projects, things like that. So a lot of it has landed in the fitness technology space, because when I started the Future of Fitness podcast, the goal was I wanted to help, to use the hockey analogy, help the industry skate to where the puck was going. And having spent time in the trenches as a coach and a gym owner and a trainer, I've been a coach actually for a very long time. It was just ripe for change, and the technology hadn't really gotten there. I mean, and when I sold in 2017, I think the coolest thing we had was like Wodify had the screen that we could put up on the right, that we could put up on the wall that had like everyone's name and picture on it. We're like, whoa, that's amazing. So, and obviously in the last 5 years, things have changed significantly. And I think one of the biggest things we can see in a macro landscape is that the fitness industry's got a lot more attention from institutional advisors, Silicon Valley tech types, right? Wall Street types. Like, it's just gotten a lot more attention. And it's not just, people who are passionate about it. It's people who are really coming in to innovate for good or bad. And so where does technology and everything land? I think I was always seeking out ways to work with medical professionals when I had my gym, whether it be chiropractors or, even trying to install a silver sneakers program. I was like, whoa, someone figured out how to tie in health insurance money, right? Yeah. That's incredible. Yeah. And that was just the start of it. And I think now, as we start to bridge that gap between healthcare and fitness and put fitness in the forefront of that, at the front lines of healthcare, it comes down to a couple things. And number one is having a common language that medical professionals, healthcare professionals, and fitness professionals can speak. And to me, and there's a lot of different opinions on this, like, Sean Pastucci and I talked about this. He's big on that bridge of the two as well. I think it's data. I think it's data is the language that we can all lean on. As long as we can find data that we trust, that's consistent between the professions, then we can do some really cool work. I mean, the dream, right, Nicole, is that a doctor, someone goes in with some kind of chronic health issue, whether it be obesity or, kind of some kind of cardiac issue, whatever it may be, right? And the first thing they do is they write a prescription to go see your local gym. Yeah. And that fitness program is established in a medical way that we know it provides results, given that it's done correctly. And that's where we start versus a pill. Now, there's a lot of ideology in there, of course. And, it's going to take a lot to get it done, but I think we're actually on the path. So I think that's really exciting.
So much to unpack there. And I think, you mentioned, hey, we need data, right? We need to prove. And, I think it comes down to gym owners tracking, like, what are the changes that are actually happening inside of your affiliate? So many gym owners don't even track that, right? Yeah. So using tools like an in-body scan to track initial when people come in, and then, at a cadence, if you have nutrition clients, doing biometrics once a month, proving, hey, all of your hard work is paying off. You need positive reinforcement of doing the grind every single day, eating healthy, coming into the gym, sleeping well. And when you can show these numbers, more people will be like, man, I want you to help me like that too. I know at our gyms, having a wall of success. So showing all these success stories when people walk in of the transformations that are happening positively reinforces the new people coming in. Hey, this is the place for me. And this is how I can transform my health and my life through nutrition, fitness, and accountability. And I love what you said with, doctors writing scripts to different gyms. Like, that should be the case. But the problem is, doctors want something quick. They don't have time to go into detail. So they just write a script, and then those scripts cause more, side effects that cause more scripts to be written. And it's this cascade of where we're at right now with chronic disease.
Yeah, it's not good. Something has to change. And there's a lot in there. And I think, so as a gym owner, it's easily to get overwhelmed with so many things that you have to do. Like you and I were talking about, especially in the first few years of being a gym owner, you're doing everything. You're coaching, you're managing, you're doing the billing, you're mopping the floor, right? The last thing you want to do is like worry about data sets. And a lot of it's challenging. I mean, I remember when I bought my InBody for the first time, I was like, this is going to be great. Everyone in my gym is going to love it. Right. We're going to come in, we're going to be doing these quarterly InBodies and I'm going to track all their data. But it turned out that no one was nearly excited about the InBody as I was. And, getting my clients to do that was a bigger bite than I thought it would be. And I think the key as we move forward in data is to make it as passively collected as possible, because it's just difficult. Like, I worked with Morpheus and Joel Jameson for 2 years with their system, and just HRV to me is an amazing metric, right? Everything it can teach you about your stress and how you're adapting, and longevity. Like there's a lot of studies on that being done, and so many different things that you can learn from it. But it's still it's not quite accurate if you're using, an Apple Watch or a Garmin like I have or anything. It's just, but to get it correct, you have to like do something like put on a pulse oximeter or an armband in the morning and sit there for 2 minutes and just be while this thing takes your test. And that's almost too much to ask consumers. Like one of the things I look at as an example is the Ring camera, right? Like when the Ring doorbell.
Yep.
Absolutely zero additional things that people need to do for that.
No.
It's already part of the system, right?
Right.
And I think that's it too, as like, these big players like the Apples, and I just talk about Apple because I think they're probably doing the best job in seeing in the future correctly. But it's just one thing that's going to collect a lot of data, and it's going to do it passively, and it's going to be as accurate as possible. And then we can start integrating that into our system. So is that something, should everyone go out and be like, hey, all my clients now need to buy Apple Watches? Well, no, but just being aware of all this stuff and how it's starting working, if maybe testing it out on yourself, like, okay, what metrics can I be gathering on myself as a coach or a gym owner? How can I use that in my training or for my practice on myself? And just starting to get familiar with it. We still got a little while, honestly, before all this stuff becomes, super integrated into gyms, but we're at the very early stages, and it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be easy for people
Yes.
to use, and I think sometimes the people that make these things are super techy, and it can end up being overwhelming with the amount of information that you end up having, because you just are like, what do these numbers even mean? I don't need it all. Like, give me something simple so that I can understand, am I doing a good job or do I need to change something?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you and I talked about this. It's one of the pet peeves I have with the fitness technology area is that everyone's so obsessed with making a cool gadget. And, people have been in the fitness industry are like, okay, well, great. Yeah. But is it actually getting better fitness and health outcomes? Because at the end of the day, we're in behavior change. That's our business. Right. So if the technology isn't helping change behavior, and that's just a cool feature. And there's nothing wrong with cool features. I love cool stuff that do cool things. But if it's not getting me to where I want to go, and if it's not actually bridging that gap to get better fitness and health outcomes for the actual consumer, then it's just a cool thing, and it's not something we can utilize. So I think that's I think that's actually where we're at in the phase of health and fitness technologies. There's just a lot of cool stuff that's cool to play with. But we have to get people engaging with it. That's number one. If you can't get clients and patients engaging with the actual tech, then what's the point? And after that, we got to make it actionable, insightful, and actually fun.
Gamifying things.
Gamifying.
You and I have had a couple conversations, and you're like, Nicole, the one thing that I keep circling back around to is merging tech with automation with human connection. And, I think this is something I would love to dive into a little bit, because there's something so powerful about human connection. And a lot of tech companies are trying to take that out. And, automations and systems are really great, and you can leverage tech to do that and to deliver and provide a consistent experience. But at the end of the day, there's such a better behavior change that you can make when you integrate human connection with the use of technology.
Yeah. Yeah. That's spot on. So I just released an interview recently with Ali Oradi. He's the founder of Tonal. And I like that. He has the third time he's been on in 5 years. And I really enjoyed talking to him. And I always, because what they're trying to do is replace the personal trainer, not replace, but augment. Right. And they're kind of doing it. I have one come in, kind of excited to play with it. But I think when people start thinking about technology and like, is this going to replace us as trainers and coaches? It's absolutely not, because our highest order of service is what you just talked about. It's the interpersonal piece. It's the empathy, right? It's the understanding. It's the connection that we can have. And that's the highest order skill that I think we can have as trainers. I mean, writing programs, we get obsessed with stuff like that, right? Like we do. I did. Like, I was like, oh, I have the best programming in Santa Barbara. That's for sure. And everyone's going to come to me because my programming is the best. You know what? At the end of the day, clients don't care.
No,
there's
don't.
A certain 1% that truly gave a crap, but nobody else really cared. They just want to come in. They like the community. They want to feel good when they walked in. Yep. And that to me is, if we can start to, augment through technology, getting things, and actually maybe having software or, AI that does better programming than us, because it can adjust on the fly due to someone's stress levels or someone's sleep or someone's nutrition, whatever it may be. And we don't have to worry about that anymore. We can set it and kind of forget it and check on it every once in a while. Imagine how much time that gives us to actually work on the relationships with our clients and do the deeper work. So I think when we talk about technology, it's not here to replace. And that's always a common fear, right? Is automations, things like that are going to replace what we have as human beings. If you're worried that automations are going to replace what you do as a coach, then you're not coaching. And that's uncomfortable to hear. But it's true. So yeah, I think there's a lot of ways that we can simply augment. And, when I talk to gym owners about adding technology to what they do, you don't have to go out and adopt some major platform. And the biggest thing is lean into what you're already good at.
Yeah.
You don't have to make huge steps. Like if you're, a CrossFit gym, nutrition softwares, number one, right? Or even just having like, some kind of SMS tool that helps with billing or things like that. Like it doesn't have to be this overwhelming, really sexy piece of technology. It can just be things that help you do what you already do well, even better. And if there's anything else, like if I'm a gym that does a lot of heart rate based training, I'm going to lean into better heart rate based training technologies. So, things like what, yeah, I mean, it's not complicated. Just, find out what you do really well and find things that advance that particular category. Don't go for the things that are just really sexy and cool, but they don't actually serve your core principles as a coach or gym owner.
I think that's a very great point. And, you think about the pain points that you have when you don't leverage technology. I know for us, when I started Healthy Steps Nutrition, I had people texting, Facebook messaging, emailing me. I was writing all of this stuff, trying to keep track of clients. And it was literally impossible. I was spending just as much time as the face-to-face connections trying to figure out where all my clients were at and trying all these different ways to keep them accountable. But when we built the app, okay, great. Now all of my communication is in one spot. I can check off custom habits. I can see compliance. I can send video message, which is huge. If you are a gym owner and a coach, I would say the biggest tip that I can give anyone is, if gym members aren't coming to your gym, if for whatever reason it's been 5 days and they haven't come in, make a video message and say, hey, Eric, where have you been? I miss your face. Like come in and work out with me on Saturday. Like no one is not going to watch that video and be like, man, thank you. Like, thanks for being on me. Same thing with nutrition coaching. Send video message check-ins to your clients, and it allows you to deepen that connection with the client and not this automated robot. You and I were at this conference and I was talking to a nutrition company owner, and the whole company was based on AI and automations with meal plans. I'm like, we're in the people business. Where are the people? and the whole business platform was taking the people out. I'm like, I wish you the best of luck, but there's no way that our business models would ever align because our business is based on people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I look at a couple different things. Like an example would be, heart rate variability or lumen. Lumen's a really good one. It's a promising technology, right? It's you can probably tell me more about it, but it's ketone based. It's you breathe into it, it tells you if you're burning carbs or fats. But at the end of the day, it's like you take it and you're like, okay, cool. I'm burning carbs, more fats. You're like, yeah, cool. Okay, now what?
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean? And they know, like I've interviewed the founder and CEO. He knows that that's a problem. They're working on it. They have to make it more actionable. But at this given time, that information should be fed to a coach.
Yeah.
That coach should be the person who tells the client, hey, this is what this means. This is why it's important. Ignore all the noise. This is the next step that we need to take. Right. And that same thing goes with like heart rate variability, things like that. It's like it should be fed through the coach so that the coach can take it and make it actionable, because no one else does that better than the coach or gym owner at that point. And I really don't think technology is going to take that over. I think we need to have experts, and the more information and insights we can get as coaches, the more valuable we become. And that to me is the role of technology: is how do we improve the quality and value of coaching.
I love that. And you brought up Lumen, another really great example, the continuous glucose monitoring. I know I went on your podcast and we talked a little bit about it. And there's so many different companies out there now that are like starting continuous glucose monitoring for non-diabetics. And we actually worked with or tried a few of them just so I could see the platforms and see like which one did we want to end up going with and partnering with. The one we went partnering with is the one that allowed us to have that human connection. So the data that if you were wearing it is fed to me and I can give you recommendations. And if tech companies don't figure out how to build in the coach, why would businesses want to just send their clients off and not be able to help them with the information?
Yeah. Yeah. It's that's the key. And when I was talking about cool stuff that does cool things, like that's what I mean. It's like, it's still got to come back to the point of better health results. One of the things it's interesting, because we started this off, but I'm working on a panel next week for medical fitness, and that is a category. And I think that's really interesting as well. And there's a guy named Eric Durak. He's out of Santa Barbara, California. And he's been doing this stuff for 20. There's a lot of people in the world of smart, medical fitness. And if you guys aren't familiar with that term, I really suggest you go look it up, because one of the biggest things that we saw during the pandemic, unfortunately, was that gyms were not seen as essential business. And that's just wrong all across the board. Anyone who's listening to this probably agrees that was just wrong and messed up, and it cost people dearly. Yeah. But if we can start like implementing some of these principles, one of the ideas he had was, if we start doing stuff like taking blood pressure monitoring, and we can work in aspects of medicine into our actual gyms and health clubs, all of a sudden we qualify as essential business, right? And we have an actual argument to do that. And that's really interesting. And there's a lot of things like the American Cancer Institute, I believe, is about to come down with a really interesting program for cancer rehab, and how you can actually get involved in that and getting certified as a trainer to do that type of work. And now we're starting to talk about a huge evolution. So I really encourage people to start making themselves knowledgeable about that, because that's also part of the data game, is having, medical data that we can start integrating in. And you don't have to be a doctor for this stuff, right? But you start talking this language and you start doing these simple metrics and following it on your clients. Next thing you know, medical professionals are actually like, okay,
you're relevant to help my clients.
Yeah. Because they need that.
Yeah.
Right. They need somewhere to send people after they're done with their chemotherapy. They need places to send them after they've had surgery. They need places that they can trust to send them. So there's a need there. We just need to start speaking that language, and then connecting with these people and doing the work to do it. And the next thing you become a community member, in your local area who offers these things. And that, to me, it may be some energy and some time to get this thing going in your local community. But man, like, what a powerful and profitable business you could have if you got that done.
I think to me, it always comes down to impact, right? Like if
Mm-hmm.
you look at those people that, just got done with cancer, just had surgery, or the people that are super obese that are fighting chronic disease, like those are the people that need you the most. So imagine being able to impact those people and truly transform their life. But it's not just helping them, because likely you're going to trickle out to the people that they're around in generations to come if they have kids. So just a really cool thing that we're able to help through the fitness space transform so many lives. Prior to COVID, one of the things that I think Greg, founder of CrossFit, did really well is these DDC meetings, and he would gather physicians who were interested in CrossFit at HQ, every other month. And there would be a free level 1 seminar for these guys, because he's like, man, I understand that I need physicians to understand CrossFit will help them, so that essentially they will send people to the affiliate so that they can impact more people. And I had the opportunity to go to many of these, and man, the passion behind these physicians and other healthcare professionals at these meetings was just undeniable and so much fun. And CrossFit is actually hosting a panel at the games. CrossFit Health is on bridging the gap between fitness and health inside the affiliate. They asked me to be on it yesterday. So if you end up going to the games, I think it could be a really cool conversation that we can continue there. But you're right, it's emerging, and we need to be at the forefront as gym owners and helping doctors, physicians understand how we can help their clients, because they don't have time to do it. They're not going to do it. So these people are not going to get help unless we are proactive and help them.
Yeah, it's really important. And, I thought on this as well. And here's the base problem that we have as a fitness industry. And I've talked about all the time. I think you've said it as well. Is like, we tend to just kind of fight over the same 20% of the population that we're going to go to a gym anyway. Right. People are active with a fitness or program or gym, and that relatively about 20%, the numbers give or take. So that leaves 80% of the population. And that's where the opportunity is. And that's where we're focusing. And one other thing and this is just kind of an interesting thought. And I interviewed Lauren from Forte. She's a CEO and founder of Fundos, Lauren Fundos. And, we're talking about technology and digitalizing fitness, and, there's like Web 3.0 and the fitness metaverse and all that stuff. And it's interesting to keep an eye on. But one other thing I have to say for digitalization of fitness and why it can be an advantage for gym owners is that for a lot of these people, this 80%, coming into the gym is extremely difficult for them, right? And maybe if part of the on-ramping program was just things they could do at home through maybe a Zoom, or we just reduce that little bit of friction, right? Get them more familiar. Like, why is it that most people don't start a yoga program like me? Well, I'm not flexible enough, right? I don't feel like I'm flexible enough. I don't know the movements. Maybe I'll feel like an idiot if I go into a yoga class. That's ridiculous, right? It's totally ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. Why do a lot of people not start in a CrossFit gym? Because they don't feel like they're fit enough, right? Or they don't know the movements. They feel like they're going to look like an idiot, all that stuff. So maybe if we use a little bit of that digitalization of fitness, providing people with an at-home onboarding program, or something they can do, in a gaming situation, things like, I know that's a little out there, but stuff like that, like, how can we use this to get that 80% just a little bit closer to stepping foot in our gym? And I think that's a really cool opportunity as well. And there's a lot of things that do. I mean, Forte is an example. They have that kind of nailed down as an onboarding system for gyms. So just another concept, but I think that ultimately, if we're talking about, well, what's the guiding light here, is how do we get to that other 80%? And how do we get him in?
Awesome. Eric, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Any final thoughts as we wrap up today? And also, I want to make sure that gym owners know where they can find you.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? No, I think we're just in an exciting time. I think it's really cool time. I mean, we came out of a very harsh period, just, knock on wood that this pandemic doesn't reemerge in any substantial way over the next few years. But we made it through some hard times. I think it was a necessary, recalibration of what the fitness industry is doing. A lot of new players came in. We got a lot of attention in some good and bad ways. But all in all, I think we're entering into a really golden age for fitness and health. So just got to stay the course, be aware of, obviously take care of your community members, but be aware of what's going on a macro level and start, taking small actions to get into that health and medical area. And I think it would be, it's great for everybody. So that's my final thought. As far as getting a hold of me, really active on LinkedIn, Eric Malzone. It's like Calzone with an M. You can find me at futureoffitness.co. That's my website. Should be redone any minute, but you can contact me there and subscribe to the podcast as well. And I think that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Nicole.
I hope you enjoyed that episode with Eric. He has such a valid point talking about the role of tech in the health and fitness space. Yes, it can help us automate things, streamline things, but you cannot replace human connection. We use tech in Healthy Steps Nutrition through the Healthy Steps Nutrition app. It has been a game changer to help us be able to streamline, help us be able to provide content and automate some things. But I can tell you the most engagement with that piece of tech, the Healthy Steps Nutrition app, are the personalized video messages that our coaches send out to clients. We recommend that they send them out video messages out weekly to clients, and engagement has drastically increased. Again, we can use tech to help us streamline the process, but we can't take away the value of human connection. So as you think about scaling your program, growing your business, how are you going to leverage tech to be able to impact and serve more people in your community? Well, if you have any questions at all, or you feel like you need those systems, you need the app and the ways to streamline the process so that you can deliver a professional nutrition coaching program, we would love to help you. Click the link in the show notes to see how it works with the Healthy Steps Nutrition Mentoring Program and how we provide gym owners and coaches a turnkey solution to deliver a professional nutrition coaching program in-house. So you not only help your clients achieve better results, increase retention, but you're adding a revenue stream to support your business. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and we'll see you back here next week.